Mama is so excited to finally have you on set. We've been dreaming of this day for so long because you do such wonderful work. So Zain, if you could tell us a little more about yourself, what you do. I'm sure the audience is very excited to hear more about your work. They've seen it for sure on Instagram, but I'm sure they're really excited to see what you've been doing.
Well, my name is Zain. I am very many things to many people. I'm a daughter, I'm a sister, I'm an auntie, I'm a sneakerhead, I'm a wife, but I'm also a mom to two super duper amazing kids and obsessed with the miracle that is childhood. And I just think it's such a beautiful part of the human experience. So naturally, I did end up setting up a Play Academy. And basically what we do there, we are creating a village where we are trying to improve the lives of children and families, especially those ones in the first 5 years of life, which are super duper important, and also in the African context. So we do this by creating like a safe, supportive environment and lots of opportunities to play and connect. We have, parents play dates, kids play dates. We have a caregiver and me play pod where they come and play daily. We have excursions, we have workshops and trainings and lots going on. Yeah.
Awesome. So the company that you run is called Playroom Africa.
It's Play Academy Africa, yeah.
Play Academy Africa. And where are you located?
So Play Academy Africa currently is at Kilimani Children's Clinic. We have our play pod there, which is kind of our community hub where we come together. That's where we host most of our events. And we also have daily play dates for now kids 4 years and below, where they come with their caregivers. They do lots of sensory play, movement, outdoor, because we wanted to create an environment where they could play like we did. They could go outside, which is really difficult to find these days. So yeah, maybe come for a visit and you can check us out.
Awesome. So I know play is really important to you. Can you share with us, one of the, areas where you've seen play really play a role in transforming your motherhood and your relationship with your children? I'm sure people want to understand why play.
Oh man, why? Play is everything in childhood, outside of the things that keep them alive, which is food and security and water. Play is pretty much up there with everything else. I had an amazing childhood, and I thought, having this super duper playful mom is something that everyone was experiencing. Our house was always the house where the doors were open. There were kids who were not the kids of that household. My mom was sometimes up in a tree. She was pulling pranks on us until we were adults. And I just thought this is what childhood is. So naturally, because that was the model that I had for what motherhood is, it translated to my interactions with my kids. And then I did a lot of research, as one does when they first have kids in this information age. Google was my friend. I was over there Googling everything and doing a lot of research to find out how I can better support my son. And it hit me that this thing that we do so naturally and instinctively, it's super duper important for their growth. And I found out that the first 5 years of life is when they have more neurons firing and the most brain growth and brain development than any other time in their entire lives. So it was crazy to me that we have this idea that, they start learning when they're in kindergarten, when they start school. Right now they're just playing around, when literally this play is how they learn every single thing, how to be creative, how to socialize, their place in the world, communication, literally everything. And I didn't feel like we were prioritizing it enough. Then in my own experience, I've seen how it has built a stronger connection with my kids. Just being able to tap into that side of us as adults that, playing makes you vulnerable. You feel very vulnerable. You tap into being silly and relaxed and not worried or on a busy schedule. So slowing down, that's what it's really done for my motherhood, and especially during the pandemic, which was a turning point for us.
Yeah. society has become busier and busier, and parents also are becoming a lot more busy with the growing generations that are coming. I'm
Yeah.
wondering, could you share some insights on how parents can simply integrate nurturing care and play into their daily routines,
Yeah.
so that play doesn't become another chore that they're doing, but
Yeah.
rather something that flows naturally?
Yeah. I have always, I get this question a lot. And the idea, what I've gathered from it over the years is that there's this perception that play is something parents do for kids. What we need to understand is kids are the experts of play. You do not have to teach them how to play. You don't have to do much. They know exactly what they need. So even for my kids, there's a period where I took away all the toys in our house, literally everything. Play didn't stop. They were creative. They found ways to engage themselves. And in this busy time, and especially for moms, we are put under so much pressure to be the chauffeur, the cook, the nutritionist, everything, and now also the teacher, which we are. But I don't think we should look at play as something we have to do. The biggest tip I can say is just creating a schedule or a rhythm that gives kids that security, where they know, for example, for us, outside time. I just schedule outside time from 3 to 6 every single day. Literally just that. Make sure you've prioritized play. You've given kids a time to have leisure and to rest after a busy time in school. And outside is literally sensory play. It is where they learn math, they learn to socialize and everything. So I would say just preparing the environment in the home and making it a safe space to play and getting them outdoors.
Yeah.
And removing the pressure from yourself to do anything. You don't have to add anything to your schedule for your kids to play and for you to reap the benefits of play.
Yeah. And that's so important. I wonder, in Play Academy, Africa, for the moms and babies who come there, what changes have you seen in the way that they interact with one another?
For sure, for us, one of the really, really important things was to make sure that all our insights are not just research driven, but they are relevant in the African context. I'll tell you why. When I had my son and I was furiously Googling, as one does, even Googling something like, how do I know my baby's teething, would give me a response with, check for rashes and red cheeks. My child is black. There is no point in time where that's going to happen. So I was running into a lot of information that is not relevant for us. I was running into, ingredients for play that included Elmer's glue or whatever that we don't have stocked here at the time. And I wanted to really create something that was more within reach, something that was easily accessible, and I wanted to create an inclusive environment for all children to be able to play. So some of the changes I've seen is that just for the kids being able to see themselves in the books that we choose, parents being able to connect with other parents from the beginning when we started having our sessions. It would be a first time when you're meeting someone, but from now they run into each other. It's built a really strong community. A lot of all the events and all the things we've been able to do are purely out of collaboration. We did not have artist starting capital. We did not have a location. The location we have now is from a parent. All the big opportunities we've gotten to grow are all from members of the community. So what I've seen is a more engaged village, a chosen village. I've seen the kids, feeling safe and free within our space after just a few play dates, knowing that in that space they are valued, that they are respected, that they are whole humans. We don't look at them as you still have ways to go, like we are the ones with the knowledge. And I'm just really proud of that part of it. And we've come off with a lot of parents who are more empowered and caregivers. So like I said, in the African context, we look at nannies also as a really important part of our community. So we've seen a lot of empowered and engaged groups in that area as well.
Wow. Yeah. It sounds like it's such an exciting community. I feel tempted to also bring my kids.
Yes,
I probably
please do.
should.
The more the merrier.
Yeah. I wonder what your thought is around, play that involves toys. I think for us as moms, the new age moms, there's a lot of pressure to be able to afford the newest toys, the newest games. So, what would you say to encourage the mom who's, is struggling financially, is not able to afford the newest toys, but they still want to ensure that their baby's development is nurtured through play. What would you say to encourage them?
I want to say they don't need any toys. Kids literally can thrive with zero toys. And I did that in my own home by taking away all the toys and seeing what would happen. And they played in the same exact intense, rich play that they needed to do. I just have to say one of our goals in empowering parents is because childhood, like everything else, has been monetized. And a lot of our perceptions about it, a lot of the complications that have come around play, because play is something very instinctive, very natural. Mammals, other animals do it. It's been there time immemorial. The difference now is we are overloaded with information about the right type of play, the toy that will make your child smarter, the thing that is going to put them ahead of everyone. This has complicated so many things, but if we boil down to it, the reason we don't look at outdoor play as something that is a rich experience is because it doesn't make anyone money when we say just let the kids go outside. So I would say the most important thing in child development and for healthy brain development, and this is research based, is responsive caregiving. You are the most important element in their life. It will never be toys. It will never be anything else. So all they need is a responsive caregiver, someone who sees them, someone who cares for them, and they will run with everything else. They'll be in the best position to thrive.
Yeah. And just to sort of piggyback on that point, I wonder what your view is on screen time. More and more we're seeing children who are glued to the screen, TV or mobile phones, tablets, etc. What's your take on that?
Well, we know that as much as possible, we should limit screen time, especially in the first 2 years of life. In the first 2 years of life, if you can avoid it entirely, then I would encourage that you do. But I'm also a mom who understands sometimes you just need to get dinner done without someone on your coattails and everything. So I look at screens more as a tool and something that you can schedule in. For example, in my household, they get an hour of screen time a day. And what I've learned from that and from practicing that is kids actually don't know any better. They don't expect it. We are the ones who make it a thing and introduce it. But they generally just live their lives as if our TV doesn't exist. So it is very uncomfortable, and maybe if you're transitioning, they're going to be bored for quite some time. So it will be a bad time for everybody when they're in that state. But once they have sat in that discomfort, it helps with their creativity. They learn to be flexible. They learn goal setting. And it's not your job to entertain your kids. So don't replace the screen with mom planning activities every single moment, waking moment of the day, because then you become the toy and you become the what is it called? What was the screen? Yeah. So I would encourage as little screen time as possible for as long as possible. And but I also understand the way we are living now, sometimes it's necessary to use it as a tool. Yeah. When they're sick and you need to care for others. When you're sick and no one is really, the kids don't really slow down. Yeah, it can be one way that you tap into that. Yeah.
Zain, when we see you on social media, you look so put together. Like you figured out motherhood, you have no struggles, you're just glowing through this journey.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's true. Do you have any challenges?
Not. I was crying along with my child literally a week ago. And I thought, this is insane. I have 2 kids. I've been through this. Why would I be broken by this moment? But what I've come to understand is I just allow it. Motherhood is hard. Parenting is hard. And trying to work against that and trying to think you'll be the first person in human history to make it easy, it's just not possible. So sometimes you just lean into it. Sometimes you have not slept. You need to collapse. That's why the village is super important. I am in no way put together. I was just thinking also the other day that something new was happening with my son. And I said, I'm feeling the exact same feelings as that first time mother who didn't know what to do, how to change that diaper in the bath when they're all slippery. It's just like a new phase and a new step in motherhood. So I've just learned to accept the growth that comes with it, that there will be hard days and then they finish. Everything has an end, and to just really lean on the village. Sometimes you don't need a fix. You just need to like vent. You need to find that WhatsApp group where moms are also talking about poop colors in the middle of the night with strangers. So I am in no way, I have not figured anything out. I can tell you that much,
Yeah. So how do you navigate the challenges that you face? I know you talked about communities, but what does self-care look like for you?
Yeah. Well, in the beginning, self-care was something I scheduled like, once a month, go and get your hair done, go and do all these things. But for me, what I found is more sustainable is that being something that's prioritized every single day, finding pockets for things that I consider self-care. Being able to pour myself into my work and my passions is self-care for me. Getting space to actually miss my children is self-care for me. So that little outside time window, that's not accidental. That works for everyone because then I have those 2 hours which are to me, being able to communicate effectively when I need support and be vulnerable about that and just say, no, actually, I'm not cooking today. We are going to figure out what to order in. Self-care for me is also, identifying the guilt, acknowledging it, mom guilt that we all feel, and then dismissing it because I know the fact of the matter. So it's just like little pockets within that day. Oh, and the endless scrolling and regret in the morning for why didn't I sleep? But so you are catching up on like a series or something.
Yeah. So there's probably a new mom who's going to watch this podcast or listen in on the various platforms. And they look at you and say, even though you've told them you go through your challenges, they'll still wonder if they will surmount those challenges. What would you say to a mom who's just new, she's struggling? How would you encourage her?
I would say there is no other person better for your child than you. No other person is the expert in your child. No other person has such like their best interests at heart than you. No other person would go above and beyond as you. You are the best parent for your child, and it is not an accident that they are with you. It'll be hard, but you will figure it out. Lean onto a community, choose your community if you need to, and at the back of your mind, remember, no one knows what they're doing. We are actually all figuring it out as we go. It's like it's group work and a group assignment, and you've got this.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm sure they will be looking out for your content, to see how they can get nuggets of encouragement from you. Thank you so much. I think this has been so encouraging for the various audiences that we have. I'm sure many women can resonate with some of the things that you've talked about. So we are so excited to partner with you. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode.
Thank you for having me. I think you're doing a wonderful job with the stories. I love watching and hearing other people's motherhood stories because I think they are all such unique experiences to each of us. So I've enjoyed hearing other people's stories of you, and thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you. Awesome.